an awesome presentation for you by Yuki. She's going to be talking about the new charting features that we're updating and upgrading and improving in Cold Fusion 2025, which is currently available as a public beta. And if you're not part of the beta yet, why not? Go down, click the beta sign up link. It's open to everyone. It's free. You don't have to worry about anything. You just go there and use it. You can pull it up in Docker. It's super, super easy. If you want to learn more about the beta and about other things that are coming up, you can click the beta blog. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A pod below. Now, without further ado, here is Yukti to tell us all about charting. Over to you, Yukti.
So, hello everyone. Today, welcome to the session of Unleash the Power of CFCharts for Modern Applications. I am Yukti Agarwal, MTS2, have been part of Adobe and Cold Fusion for more than 3 years. Worked on features such as um, SAML LDAP uh, with SAML LDAP integration with Cold Fusion and CFCharts, and also various small enhancements in language and VS codes as well. So let's dive into it and set the agenda for today. So first we'll talk about a brief about CF charts. Then we'll see what new has been introduced in CF charts, and one by one we'll go through each and every enhancements like chart types, formats, styling and customization, and multi-chart integration. After that, we'll also look at one demo, maybe like creating a dashboard. So without further ado, let's start with CF charts. So CF charts is basically a powerful library which is already integrated in Cold Fusion, which helps us to transform raw data to visualizing appealing charts. And currently we support multiple chart types such as bar, pie, line. Also, apart from supporting these chart types, we also do provide a lot of options which using which you can customize your charts. Maybe it from tooltip to legend to color and everything. Like there are a lot of options. For those who have already used it, must be aware about it. Further, it's very simple to use. Using CF charts, you can easily create real life dashboards like for performance monitoring, customer feedback visualization, and all those things. So now, although CF chart is packed with so many features, so why is there a need for revamping? So the answer is simple. Customers like to keep up. As we know, in this era there are everything is more about visualization, and there has been very much change uh, in visualization and appealing dashboards and all. Like basically we can say uh, there is a lot of transformation in UI. So to keep our customers in pace with current changes, we have introduced some changes so that they can create more impactful and more professional and more uniform looking dashboards or their applications and all. So and plus, apart from that, we have provided more control to do so. So now we look into how we can achieve all those things. So we have listed here a few things uh, which we have worked on. First is chart types, then format, then various options for styling and customization like markers, rules, data formatting, animations, themes. And apart from that, we have also introduced multi-chart integration. So multi-chart integration is basically containerization of multiple charts. We'll further look into like benefits of it when we'll deep dive into it. So let's move on with our first section, that is chart types. So currently these all chart types are supported like area, bubble, gauge. Now what chart types we have introduced? That is This histogram, floating bar, donut, vertical area, and area charts of basically three types: vertical, curved, stepped, plus box plot. So these charts are kind of like generally used for visualization and analyzing data distribution and all those things. So basically it will help to create more real life graphs or charts to analyze properly the data. Now we'll firstly look into histogram. So histogram is more about cre- uh, more about analyzing data distribution in l- for like temperature or exam score distribution. For that, we can simply use keywords such as histogram or hist or h histogram. Plus, apart from this, we there are two different types of histograms which we support. That is horizontal histogram and vertical histogram. So this is like a basic code snippet using which you can create a histogram. Like simply provide type is equals to histogram in cfchart tag and provide basic parameters like format or chart height, chart width, and all those things. Then you will be able to render a histogram something like this. So we'll look into like demo in upcoming slides. Firstly, we'll go through all these charts one by one. Next is our donut chart. Donut chart is mostly for comparative analysis, like market share contribution or like budget allocation. Plus, so for this purpose, we have provided a keyword called ring, and also for further styling options, we have introduced some of the parameters like slice, aperture, and ref angle. Right. So let's look into how its syntax looks. So similar to histogram, here also we just provide type is equals to ring, and somewhat this kind of chart will be rendered. A basic donut chart. Next comes area chart. So area charts play a significant role in visualizing the trend, like for web traffic analysis or sales trends, etc. So here also there are three types of area charts which we have introduced. First is V area, then curved area, and then stepped area. So let's look into their how their syntax looks or how they can be implemented. So for V vertical area chart, that is for vertical area chart, we have introduced keyword that is V area. So we just provide type is equals to V area, and this vertical area chart will be rendered. Right. Next is curved area chart. So for curved area chart, we'll just simply provide type is equals to curved area in with same data points, and it just change. It's like more smooth kind of chart. Like if we see previous chart, it has uh, some corner kind of, matlab it's kind of steep. So in this, it's more of smoothness. So this is the curved area chart. Next is stepped area chart. So for this, we just provide type is equals to stepped area, and we'll get a chart in form of steps. It's clear from the visual itself that it's a stepped area chart, right? Next chart is floating bar chart. So floating bar chart is mainly required for visualizing data ranges, or like visualizing the amount of like suppose how much time was estimated and how much time it took to complete some project, or like the sales volume, like what is the minimum sale which was done for a particular product, and what's the maximum. So that kind of volume kind of things which are involved. So in that case, we use this floating bar chart. And also we support both type of floating bar charts, that is horizontal and vertical. And similarly for individual, we have given keywords as well. So let's look into how uh, this syntax looks like. So for this, like other charts, we just provide for this is for simple horizontal, uh, if horizontal floating bar. So like this one, as you can see from the image, type is equals to f bar, and we can just plot it simply. But there is one thing, for floating bar charts, there is one attribute called z value. For rest of the charts, we generally provide item and value, but for floating bar, there comes another attribute, that is z value, which which signifies how much distance it will be above the x-axis. So that is the basic difference in providing the data for floating bar charts, right? Next is our box plot chart. So box plot chart is also used for analyzing data distribution, but it also helps us to find the data outliers as well. Data outliers is basically the data points which are a bit off from the generic value. Like you can see from here in this plot as well, like from like there are many values, and these data points are kind of different, or like uh, a bit, mm, what do I how do I put it, like their value is not, is very far from the actual value, like the what is the median of all the values, overall values. So these kind of charts helps us to visualize that. And a perfect example for this is like stock market, or like the exam scores of students, where we'll know like which student has are the outliers, or like what is the average of all those scores, right? For this also, we support horizontal box plot and normal box plot. Plus, for styling purpose, we have introduced additional parameter, that is options. So we'll see in couple of minutes, like visualize proper demo. So firstly we'll see its syntax. So here, like other charts as well, we have provided type is equals to box plot. We have specified data struct, where we have provided key for scalex, data box, and data outlier, and we have just passed in this data attribute. So then this kind of chart will be plotted. So these were the 5 to 6 charts we have, which we have introduced. Now we'll look at their code and how it will look into existence. Firstly, we'll look into histogram. So as we saw earlier, this is a code like where we have specified cfchart. Its type is equals to his, and now we'll see how it looks. So this is somewhat histogram will look with the current attribute. Now suppose if we want to plot horizontal histogram, so we'll just provide hhist, and we'll get a horizontal histogram, right? So it's as simple as just changing the type of the chart, and we'll just get that value, right? Next we'll see donut chart. So for donut chart, here we have provided type is equals to ring. So firstly we'll see how this part of code will look like, that we have already seen in screenshot as well, but we'll see once here as well. So this is how it will look. we have just provided item value like two values, yes and no, and respectively we have got this chart, right? Now suppose we want to, like, you can obviously view from here, there is some there is some hollow space between this chart. So is there a way to way to customize that, like way to increase or decrease? So answer is yes. So for that we have provided this slice value. We just declare this, we just specify slice in this plot struct, and then we'll here pass plot is equals to plot, right? So you can see that it's where the hollowness increased, because by default the value the diameter of that is 35%, and here we have provided 60%, so we could saw an increase in that, right? Another thing is, another attributes, styling attributes are aperture and ref angle. So for that we have another attribute called scalar. Now let's see what how it will look, then we'll explain what's the meaning of it. So now you can see, then we can see a semicircle. So semicircle is basically, it's like the only 180 degree, like the whole data is covered inside this 180 degree of area, right? If we suppose if we change this aperture, so aperture is basically how much aperture is this part, how much area will be plotted, and ref angle is from where it starts, right? This is the starting point, like for the first value. So let's see and try to change it. Suppose it's 270 degree, and now see this. So area of that donut chart has increased to 270 degree, right? Now what happens if we change the ref angle to 0 degree, right? So this starting point has come to 0, because we know this is 0, then if we have done 90, then it would have come here 270 and 360. So it just changes accordingly, and we can simply change it according, we can style it according to our requirement. Like generally in the like speedometer, what kind of, we generally saw a semicircle kind of thing, or like all those things we can simply use donut chart, not exactly in speedometer, but that kind of visualization, right? So now let's move on to next chart, that is f bar. So in f bar, let's see, so we have written here some basic piece of code, like type is equals to bar. We have provided data attribute through data attribute, and let's see how it looks. So this is the basic floating bar chart. Now we saw like there is another type of floating bar chart which we support, that is HF bar. So this is how the axis have turned, and now it's changed to horizontal floating bar chart. Suppose another thing is like, if we want to change, this is, in this it's 3D array. So if we want to change data z value, so we can just increase it, suppose 900, right? So this value has increased. So this is how we can play with the values here. We'll just change back another chart. Okay, now we look into these area charts. So firstly we'll see v area, right? So here also we have passed these data attributes, and let's see how it looks. So this is the vertical area chart looks like. Now let's see other charts as well. So next is curved area. So curved area looks like this. Another chart which we have is stepped area. So we just, you can see like how easy it is. We can change a simple chart just by changing its type, and we can get three different types of charts, right? Another attribute we can talk about is like series placement. So suppose currently it's stacked, so this these chart series comes on top of one on top of the other. If suppose we remove this series placement, right, so it will go one behind the other. So that is one important attribute which we can definitely use to enhance your charts. Now let's go on to box plot chart. So here also we have simply provided type is equals to box plot and data in these structs. So first let's see how it looks, then we'll understand different types in which we can pass the data, right? So here we have seen two types. So in this, what we do is we just pass the key, that is series 1, and these are the x-axis values basically for a particular struct. Then one way is, we if we have data box values and data outlier values, then we can simply provide it here, like it's like the minimum quartile, minimum value, this is the first quartile, this is the median, this is third quartile, this is the maximum value, right? So and in data outliers is like 24, 25. And another way is like if you only have the raw data, and that also you can simply pass in data attribute, you can simply pass the raw data. So in these two ways, plus there is another way as well, like if you have defined this raw data um, as an array, like 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 8 comma 10, right? So you can also pass that as well, like we'll just simply change it here only. So that also has been plotted, right? So these are like three ways in which you have like freedom to pass the data, no need to compute it on your own. At backend it will be at cold fusion's end it will be computed automatically. Now another attribute which we discussed is options, because this is like the simple blue color and all, right? So how do we style it? So in CF script itself, so I'll just let you know about the basic parameters. You can further refer to more parameters from the docs, right? So suppose there is the box, like the box I refer to is this one. Okay. So for box, if you want to change its background color, suppose we change to background color, and just a second. And we pass this option attribute here. Uh, just a second. So here at chart level, we have provided this options attribute, right? Here we have changed this background color as green, and we can see the background color of box plot has also changed, right? So further there are other options such as outlier and min connector, median line. So all those things like can easily be style using these structs. So this was like how different we can plot different charts, and we have saw different attributes as well, and how we can tweak as as we want. Like there are different attributes and we can style according to our requirement, right? So now let's move on to next part of the presentation, that is format enhancements. So here we'll talk about what are the current formats and what new formats will be supported. So as we know, there are two types of rendering in CF charts. First is client side and second is server side. So for client side, HTML and Flash was supported, and for server side, JPG and PNG was supported. But moving forward, we have removed Flash because of some security reasons, and also some powerful libraries have also come up in market. So Adobe, matlab with deprecation from Adobe side, we have also stopped supporting it. Another is SVG. We'll talk more about in our next slide. So SVG is very high in demand kind of format because of various various uh, positive aspects to it. Like it is highly scalable. Plus, firstly, as from the name we know, like it's vectorized image. So if so with respect to resolution, also it's highly resolution. It creates highly resolution image. Plus also it's accessible, like with screen reader also it's accessible, so it supports accessibility as well. So it's basically kind of very highly required format. So and for that also it's like very simple to uh, render these kind of image. We just like for in other examples we saw format as HTML, right? So we just need to provide this format is equals to SVG, and we can render it SVG image for any kind of chart. It is supported for all type of charts, right? So this was a brief about enhancements in charts. Now we'll move on to one of the important section, that is styling and customization, which basically provides more control to the users to make uh, to produce their charts accordingly and make uh, more specific changes or according to the requirements, right? So first is markers. So when we you can easily when you look into these images, these are like some of the common charts which you will view, uh, for uh, maybe for sales and all. And in that you'll observe one, like in this chart you'll observe there is one line, like this red line, which helps us to clearly visualize, like uh, whether our daily sales up to the mark or they are very less or it has exceeded the performance, right? And on the other hand there is one more chart where uh, it signifies it helps us to visualize the product satisfaction of the customer. Like there are with this line, these are the various products, like each line denotes a product, and these area denotes about the region. Like suppose if it is less than 60%, 60%, so that means customers are not satisfied. This is okay. And if it is greater than 80, so that means it's good. So these kind of change in this background color. So all these both these are kind of markers. So for that to produce these kind of charts, we have introduced this attribute because it helps to properly analyze the trends in the market or the performance of a particular product. So for that we have simply introduced one attribute called markers. And these markers are applicable to, like we can either create these line markers or area markers, or also apart from that we can also we can also what do we say, control these markers as well, like the ones in these line chart you can see. So all these are very much able to handle using these markers. So also these are applicable to all the accesses plus the plot. Right, now let's see how its code look like. So in CF chart we just provide this markers and a struct. So in this struct we have different um, different axes, like for if we want to mark for y-axis, along y-axis, so we just provide these array of structs, and then we will get something like this. Like here we have marked, like here we have created area markers, so the range is from 0 to 80, right? So now, and we have put background color is equals to red, so this till 80 the background color will be red. So in this way markers can be created. This is specific example for area markers. We'll further see for line examples as line marker as well later on. Now will now comes the rules. So for rules, like if you view this chart, right? So you can clearly visualize that above this line, these these dots are green, and below this line all these dots are red. So what is happening here is, like, it's, we can say it's kind of some kind of logic. Like if it is above some value, we want this kind of styling. If it is lower than value, we want this kind of styling. So this is basic. No, so this kind of scenarios we have come up with a new feature, that is rules. So rules helps us to incorporate a logical control on our charts styling. Right. So here this is like the basic example for it. We can also we can apply rule to different attributes no matter what that attribute is, and we can control its styling. So it's like very we can say very useful feature for uh, creating creating different types of style charts. So now if we look at its syntax, so suppose if we want to change the color of the markers, like the dots which we saw in the previous chart. So we just in the plot for marker we just add the rule, that is if the value is less than certain value, we'll change the color to suppose red, and if it is greater than some value, we'll change it to some other color, and we'll just provide it into here as we have written rules for plot. So we need to pass that plot struct into plot attribute. Then we'll get something like this. It's kind of similar to the one which we saw earlier. So if the values are less than 45 here, so we can see these red dots, and if it is greater than 45, we can see these green dots. So it is basically this simple to add logical based styling in our charts, right? Next comes data formatting. So for data formatting basically, if we look from this chart, like here there is so large values, and here plots are very less, so it doesn't seems much of a clutter. But suppose if there are a lot of plotting on the chart, so in that case it will be more cluttered, and if the data would be more much greater, then it will be difficult to interpret, right? So for easy interpretation and for clean charts, we just we this data formatting is very helpful. From here in this in this image you can clearly see how this large data is transformed into these short values, like the million values, right? And it looks more clean. So these kind of for these kind of charts to look more clean and to increase the readability of the numbers and all, we have introduced this data formatting. And it is basically for three types, like scientific notation, short units, and decimals is basically how many decimal places we want to show a number. Scientific notation is basically e to the power, and short units you can easily visualize from here. And for this we have uh, introduced one parameter, that is data format. And now we'll see how data formatting attribute will look like. So in CF script, suppose we have written this data format is equal to short, and we have provided unit as key, right? And for scale y and scale x, basically this data format is for chart series level. And if we want to apply formatting, we can simply provide it into those respective plots. Like if you want to provide data formatting for scale y, then we can simply provide in scale y struct, that is short and all. And here we can simply pass like y-axis. In y-axis we'll provide scale y, and in um and for chart series level we can simply provide data format in the data format attribute. Now let's see how it looks. So this is how this chart series will look. So for, you can see from here, for scale y we have provided m. So sorry, so here in y-axis the values are in millions, but in for chart series level we provided short unit as k. So we can see that the plot are in in kilo units, right? So this is how you can achieve data formatting, or like you can use short units for formatting the data. Now next comes the animation. Animation is basically to uh, make our charts more lively, right? For this, like it was also present there in earlier as well, but it had limited options like effect and speed. But this time we have introduced further more attributes, that is sequence, method, and delay. It's basically it will help in different ways to uh, basically providing different combinations of animations. Some of, like here we'll see some examples. And this one. Now let's see how we can achieve this. So for this we can simply add create a struct with effect, speed, sequence, or also here in same struct we can add method and delay as well. And we can pass in this we can pass in the basically the for animate attribute we are required to pass in this chart series tag. But if we want to overall apply, if we want to apply same animation to overall chart, we can simply pass it in the plot attribute itself, right? So as I have passed only for first chart series, that is this orange one, we'll see how it looks. So you can see that animation is applied only to the first attribute, right? So let's look into the visualization of this. For this we'll execute some code. So for customization, let's look into the marker. So firstly, let's see how this one will look like. This is basically the same code for which we saw in the screenshots, right? So let's see. So you can see it's the same only, not exactly same because okay, so this is the area chart, right? So for this you can see we have here provided in y-axis area, two types of area markers. Suppose instead of area, we just want to provide a line at 80 point, matlab at 80 value here. Because the division is also 80, we'll now try to switch it to a different type of marker, that is line marker. So how do we do that? We'll just in y-axis struct itself, we'll remove this one. We'll create a simple struct. Range will be 80, and background color, instead of background color, it will be line color, right? And also, okay, so first we'll see how this part will look, right? So now you can see that a line has appeared. So on top of this, it's a simple line marker. On top of this, we can provide further for further styling as well, like for um, further interpretation or that kind of thing. So suppose we provide some text as v less than 80, and also currently it's a solid line. So how about change we change the style of the line to dashed. So let's see how it changes. So you can see that line is dashed, but it seems very minimal, like it's kind of not visible. So for that, we can also increase its width, maybe to 2 points. Now you can see the width has increased. So everything is customizable. You can customize this as well. So it's basically we have introduced here just the text, right? So this is how you can add a line marker in the same. Also, if you this is for y-axis we did, like suppose you want to do for x-axis, you can do that as well, like just simply providing x-axis struct and passing scale, passing this. Okay, so passing markers may in markers only you just need to pass, you just need to specify here x-axis, and everything the same will work automatically, right? So we can try out also as well, like x-axis, and suppose we provide here 2018, because like there is one value as 2080. For that we need to set value range is equals to 2, I guess. Okay, somewhere. Okay, I forgot. So now you can see at 2018 we got the dash line, but text is still similar. Maybe we can change this text to 2018. So we should keep in mind like while changing it. So now the text has changed to 2018. So it's like very simple to play with these things. Next we'll look into rules. So for rules, like we have already defined uh, this this rule, the same which we saw in the code snippet. So here we have defined uh, rule based on the value of y-axis, that is 45, and for that we have changed the color of the markers, right? So let's see how it looks. Sorry. So here with respect to 45, we have changed the values of this. Suppose if you want to change another thing, like the suppose if you want to change the type of the marker, like currently this is circle only, like what if you want some square or diamond, so that also you can do it very easily, like you just need to add marker type is equals to square and see. So it has changed the marker type, and it has only changed for this lower part. So that is how you can change different things using rules as well, and not just the marker color, but you can change marker type or maybe the line color according to the rules. So all those things you can play with very easily. Next, let's look into data format. So for data format, okay, so for data format, it's the same which we saw earlier, like in example. So first, let's look into how it looks. Then we'll tweak something and we'll look into the changes accordingly, right? So it's the same. We have provided this short unit for scale y and short unit for series. So this is how it is looking. Now let's do something like this. Now instead of short, let's provide exponent and see how it will look. So exponent, you are aware, right? E to the power. So we can see that this how it has changed to 7.7 e to the power 6, right? So it has changed. We can also control the decimals as well, like the exponent, the number of decimals which will appear. Like currently it's 2. Suppose if we want to make it 4, right? So that is also possible. Just a second. Exponent decimal something has gone wrong. Why it's not coming up. Exponent. Okay, that I need to look into, but it should come up. Exponent decimals. I think I might have. Yeah, my bad. So actually, it's not decimal, it's decimals. So if here we have provided exponent as decimals, then we can see now the decimal places are up to 4. So this is how you can do that. Also here, like we have provided k, you can easily change it to m, and the value plot values have also changed. So you can tweak as you like. Now we have different types of formats, like exponent, short, and decimals as well. So go on as you like. Now we'll move forward for animations. So with animations, we have currently, like the simple thing, we have provided animation at chart level. Firstly, we'll provide only at chart level, then we'll see how it will look for plot. So here we have provided for plot, and we have provided like in plot we have provided animation attribute and some of the styling. So let's see how it looks. So this is how you can use this animation attribute. Now let's move on with our slides. Next is themes attribute. So themes is basically a great inclusion for providing a professional and uniformity in the dashboard which you will be creating, or any application. Basically, to have like for organization basis, it will help you to create a uniform charts. Plus as we are supporting all these mentioned themes, but apart from that you can create your custom themes as well. So this is the very basic example. Like you just need to provide theme is equals to like dawn light, one of the inbuilt theme, and you will get somewhat this output. Then is like multi-chart integration. So multi-chart integration is like custom containerization of all the containerization of multiple charts into a single chart, into a single container, which will further help you to placing and plotting of the charts. Earlier, if you wanted to plot multiple charts, it would come one by one in a row, but for creating a more appealing kind of UI. So for that, you would like to place it according to a requirement. Like here you can see from these images, like here it's kind of 2 by 2 grid, here it's horizontal, vertical. So all these kind of thing. For this multi-chart integration, we have provided attributes such as X layout, X, Y. So layout is like if you want to, whether you want to uh, print in form of grid or whether you want to render all horizontal, so that will be decided using layout. And X and Y is like actual placement, like from X axis and Y axis. And for that we have introduced this CF chart set type. So uh, here if you see this inside, we have the CF chart set tag where we provide format. Also in this case we have provided theme, height and width, and then multiple charts inside that CF chart set tag. So this will help us to render this kind of chart, right? So now let's move on with demo. And in demo only we'll cover this multi-chart integration and about themes. So firstly, we we want to create this something, this kind of dashboard. All right. So as of now, using those chart set and all the new charts and those things, I have created a basic layout. We'll just enhance this layout itself to create this kind of chart, right? So firstly, let's look into this. So as we saw in as we have just saw about multi-chart, so this is the CF chart set tag, right? In this only we have added further attributes like format, height, width, and also layout. So in layout, right, layout is basically row into columns. And you can see from here it's written like 2 by 3. So it will be a grid of 2 rows and 3 columns, right? Plus apart from that, here you, as you can see, there are multiple charts I have already added, and for each chart I have provided some placement. So it basically decides like this chart type will be placed where. So here, as I have provided like 2% from x-axis and from y-axis 5%, so that's why there is some kind of gap. So this is how uh, I have ordered these charts, and also like like provided some data as well. So now let's uh firstly let's add some kind of theme, right? So this is the theme attribute. So here I have already set one variable. I'll just pass that inside this theme. Now let's see how this will transform. So you can see, after applying this theme, its visualization kind of change and looks more appealing, right? So another, we can also change these themes. Like we are supporting 16 kind of themes. So suppose it's retro light. Suppose suppose we change it to cosmos light, right? Let's see how it will. So you can see like it's the palette of the chart is uniform. So all those things like the font size or like font style, and all those things are kind of uniform all across the charts, and it is looking more professional, not maybe not professional, but more uniform and more appealing kind of charts, right? We can further change it to other theme. So this is somewhat now looking closer to our actual dashboard. right? So now let's put some animations to it. Okay, so I already have those animations in place. I'll just copy paste that. Right, so these animation you can see, like I have added those animations in plot struct. So what change I would have to do is just add this plot attribute. Let's see, for area it's plot 3. For this is the pie chart. For pie chart it's plot pie. Let's add plot pie here. Oh, sorry, plot 3. No, plot pie. Next is our histogram. Plot 3. Oh no, plot 2 should be added for. Next comes. Okay, this is the refresh. So one more thing you will be seeing, you must have seen that moving kind of line chart. So that is also possible. Like if you use refresh attribute and provide a CFM file from which it will fetch the data. So that kind of line chart is also very much possible in CFCharts. Okay, I'll just add one more attribute here. For F bar it was simple plot. Okay. So let's see how it. Okay, something I have done wrong. Plot. mm, Plot is a variable. Then why it is showing a red line? Okay, let's see. Bar width. Okay, I've added plot 2 times. That's why I was getting that error. So you can see some animations have been put up and it's getting more interesting by each animation, or like with each styling, right? Now let's add. Now what's missing? Let's see. So there is one marker. Okay, and also some data formatting has been added here. So let's add both those things. We'll add it. We'll add them at single go. So for like scale y, I have shortened that unit to k, and for markers I have simply added that line marker which we have already seen, like how to put it. I'll just add those attributes in our first curved area chart. So y-axis is to scale y and marks. Let's see. So you can see we have got marker, we have got data formatted, and everything seems okay. Now can we put some text also here, so maybe to look more readable. So let's put some text. Uh, Maybe sales less than 200. Is it 200? Yeah. So sales less than 200K. Okay, we need to change some font color as well. Okay. So for that, now it's visible, right? So we have put up, like, we have created some decent kind of dashboard. So this, uh, I hope it was a somewhat informational session for you. So this was all from my side. Thank you.
Awesome, amazing talk. I'm so excited. I'm literally going to be like bookmarking this to get all the tips and tricks for like the little markers and changing things around and all that. Oh, what happened to our chat? Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's okay. I got it. I can fix
I
it.
thought I stopped. I think it was my mistake.
No, it's okay. Let's see. I can put it back. And which check was it? Hold on, folks. Just 1 second. Oh my gosh, why am I not able to read? Ooh, that is so weird. It's not in the list. This should have been chart chat, right?
But I tried to stop only screen. Not sure how chat has gone.
Oh, yeah, I mean, could have been just something that happened in here. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, that's okay. Let me just start up a new chat for everyone. Sorry, everyone. Hold on, just 1 second. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, everybody. There we go. Got a chat back. Oh, you know what it was? It's a different chat pod. Yeah, it's the chat plus pod. That's why it wasn't in the list. Yeah, brain. Okay, sorry, that was me. I forgot that was somewhere else. Cool. All right. Does anybody have questions, comments, concerns, any of those types of things? I know there was a lot of information here, a lot of information. So you may want to like view it or okay. Dave Ferguson, what is being done to prevent the graph library from becoming outdated? That's a good question, Dave. I think one thing that we've really talked a lot about in other talks, as well as internally, is just making sure that we continue to update libraries. But also, very importantly, we want to hear from you, the customer, the community, if there's new charting types, for example, that you want added, right? Or new capabilities that you see that are being done in some of the graphing engines that we don't have, let us know. Give us those enhancement requests. Like, we are actively working and seeking to update things constantly, right? So that's really where that comes from. Because the term outdated is an interesting one. What does that mean? All those bar charts are still used, right? Like, I still use bar charts, right? But now there's newer things. There's other ways of showing data that have become far more popular. And that's one of the reasons that we added the chart types that we added. Now, did we maybe miss some? Maybe. Let us know what those are, and we can work on getting those added in as well. Charlie asks, seemed the connect layout was changed. Is what you're trying to find to reset? No, Charlie, it was something else. It's the chat that we use is different than the normal chat. It's something that Alistair, the Connect evangelist, made, so it acts more like a share versus a chat. So that's all. Yeah, it's different. I didn't bring back the other chat. It's somewhere. The pods are controlled by the layout, but they're also there's it's hard to explain, Charlie. So there's a no, we're still in. I think we're still in the same layout. No, we're still where we're supposed to be, Charlie. Oh, more about the charting library being kept up to date. Yeah, you mean the actual OEM library. Yeah, so that's something that we've spoken about a little bit in the security thing, but it bears repeating now, is that we are continually working to make sure our OEM libraries are up to date. That's been something that in the past we haven't been like super good at. We've really focused on making sure that in the future we are updating those libraries constantly, so we don't get into the same position where we were, where we had like, many libraries were not updated. Yeah, and that's what we're doing. And you can also see, again, if you go back and watch the video for the security update, you can already see updates that were done to features that were recently added. There was libraries updated for GraphQL. We did it kind of quietly because it was behind the scenes. It's not something that you necessarily see, but the libraries that run our GraphQL interpretation, which, if you remember, that was a CF23 edition, those have already been updated. Those are already getting pulled up to the modern thing. So, yeah. Now, are the libraries going to stay at edge case levels? Probably not. They'll probably be lagging just a little bit behind, but not to the extent that they have in the past. And there's reasons for that. We also have to maintain backwards compatibility. That's something to keep in mind. We want to make sure that if there were breaking changes in libraries, that we give people options. But having said that, we do want to continue to keep the libraries up to date, especially for security matters. And there's always the option, and to be clear, like, there's people that don't like the built-in stuff. Like, I think Charlie mentioned that people just want to roll their own. That population exists, and we fully support that. I mean, CF is so incredibly flexible, right? Like, you can do anything you want it to. If you want to roll your own, I have people doing D3. There's people running their own visualization stuff, fully rolled their own using the D3 visualization library. But then there's people who just want it built in, right? They want to be able to email me so I could connect them to Yukti to have them be like, hey, listen, why isn't this working? And she can be like, oh, it totally is. You just have to do it that way, right? Instead of trying not only to roll your own, but remember, you also have to support your own. You have to update your own at that point, right? Now you're no longer relying on us to keep things updated. Again, obviously, we do have to keep things updated, and we are committed to doing that. All right. Any other questions from folks? Looks like Charlie's typing. He's like, oh, now I have to actually type something. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions coming across. We're about 10 over the 10 p.m. stop. So if nobody else has anything, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Just to keep in mind, there is a Q&A session at the very end of these webinars. Take a look at the blog, which is linked below. I have a Q&A session. I plan to have as many engineers there as possible. If you watch these videos and you have a question and you want to give that question to an engineer to answer, please make sure that you bring it to that session. That entire session is just Q&A. So it's going to be really fun. I want to thank everyone for coming today and attending this talk. And I want to especially thank Yukti for the amazing presentation, all the hard work that she's done on this project, on this particular feature. It looks great. I'm super excited. One of my favorite things being added to CF25. And I look forward to using the heck out of this in my own demos and projects and the like. And yeah. So if that's everything, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So me and Yukti are going to disappear for a second, and we will be back in just a few seconds. So hold on to your hats.